Hello, Manta Rays. Today we are looking at solving multi-step problems again. However, we are going to be solving them when the distributive property is involved. So our essential question is, how do we solve for multi-step problems with the distributive property? So let's take a look at that today. All right. So first of all, what is the distributive property? I know that you have done the distributive property since you were in elementary school. So let's just do a quick review so that way you remember what it is, because we incorporated letters into it just for some of you last year and others of you the year before that. So the distributive property is a property where we share. So we share factors. And we multiply. Okay? We're also going to be looking at not combining things that are not the same. So in the distributive property, sharing means caring. That's what it means. So you are going to be distributing or giving out, sharing one factor with another so that you can solve what's inside. For example, let's do this color. Okay, let's say that I have two groups of 4x plus 2. You may not put 4x and 2 together because this one has an x, this one does not. So you can't start in the parentheses, right? Normally we would combine things in the parentheses. We can't do that here because this one has an x, this one does not. So instead we're going to share, and this really means that I have two groups of 4x. So I have two groups of 4x. And I have two groups of 2. Sharing is caring. You would do this little business, right? Where you multiply in, and some of you always forgot about that second number. That poor thing. Okay, so 2 times 4x means that if I have two groups of 4x, I really have 8 x's. And if I had two groups of 2, I really have 4. Now I'm simplified and I do not combine those together. This problem is done. That is the distributive property. Okay, let's do one more distributive property just so that we have it here. Okay, so let's say I have 4 groups of 8y minus 5. Okay, so in this same property, again, I'm sharing my 4 with the 8. Sharing is caring. So hippity-hoppity, distributive property. My little frog is jumping from here to the first factor, and this is 4 groups of 8y. Hippity-hoppity, distributive property. So I'm hippiting, now I'm hoppiting. And this one is minus 4 groups of 5. And then I just simplify it down. So 4 times 8 is 32 y's minus 20. Again, those two things do not go together because this one has a y, this one does not. Okay, so that is the distributive property. You are sharing, okay? So how do we use the distributive property when we're solving multi-step equations? So we did regular multi-step equations where you just had 2 steps. Then we jumped into multi-step equations with combining like terms. Now we're adding another layer to that where you have to distribute, combine, and solve. So we're going to put everything together in the trifecta of all math problems. All right, Super exciting stuff, guys. You are so ready for this. All right. So our example is, let's go ahead and do example A. And it says, two groups of 1 minus 5x plus 4 equals negative 8. Okay, so our first step is to put up our block so we don't think about this negative 8 right now. We don't care about it right this second. Okay, our first step is to distribute. So I'm going to share or multiply because this really means two groups of 1 minus 5x. So in my first one, I have two groups of 1 minus my second group, which is two groups of 5x, plus I have this 4 here. All right, we're going to keep multiplying till we get rid of all of the parentheses. I have two groups of 1, which is a 2, minus two groups of 5x, which gives me 10x, plus this 4 again. Okay, so step 1 out here to the side that I just did, all of this was the distributive property. So that is step number 1, and that is distribute. I have shared the 2 with everything inside the parentheses there. Okay, now I'm ready for step 2. Step 2 is what we did yesterday. So I am going to take and combine like terms. Here I happen to have a 2 and a plus 4. So, and I just have this little 10x all by itself. So let's just put that little 10x by itself. All right, so I have negative 10x plus 2 and 4. Well, 2 plus 4 is 6. And that equals negative 8. So now I am finally at part 3, where I can solve using a two-step method. So right here, that was step 2. And that was combining like terms. Okay, now we're ready to solve what we did 2 days ago. Okay, or 2 lessons ago. I am going to subtract 6. My whole job is to still get the variable by itself. So I am going to subtract 6, and I am going to subtract 6. This goes away. Oh my goodness, my pen stopped working. If I have negative 8 and I take away 6 more, I have a lot of negatives, right? So I had negative $8 and then I spend 6 more, which means I have negative 14. So negative 10x equals negative 14. Why do they always give us problems that are going to end in fractions? Welcome to higher level math. Okay, so now we're going to divide by negative 10 and divide by negative 10. This becomes 1x, and this x equals 14 divided by 10, which gives us a positive. I can pull out one whole with 4/10 left over. And I can make this even smaller, right? I could simplify this down, and I could simplify this down to 1 2/5. If you don't like fractions, turn it into a decimal. 1.4. 1 4/10. Okay, so this gave us step 3 right here, which is solve the 2-step. Okay, solve the two-step. All right, so I need to turn my page right now so that I can give you another example. And I would like for you to either pause if you need to write this down or go ahead and turn your page if you need to, but I'm going to. All right, so example B. That was a lot of work for one problem. Oh, my blue pen fell on the floor. Okay, it's all right. It's okay, blue pen. We'll save you soon. Okay. Example B. Example B says, oh my gosh, all these negatives. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, -4 groups of 3G minus 5 plus 10G. Ooh, I see what they did there. Equals 19. Okay, let's start with the distributive property first. So our first step is to distribute. So step 1, distribute. -4 times 3. -4 times 3 is -12G. Also, I don't care about the 19 right now, so I'm drawing a line. So I don't look at it. -4 times -5. Or times 5, and then just put that there. Whichever you choose. Because it's not adding. So -4 times 5 is 20. -20. So see how I have a minus -20? Okay, plus 10G. So many negative signs. Okay, now we're at step number 2, which is combine like terms. So I am going to combine my like terms now. I have a G here, and I have a G here. So let's combine that. I had -12G's, and I add 10G's to it. That gives me -2G's. Now I have minus -20. So this is a plus. Negative and a negative is a plus 20 equals 19. It is really important to pay close attention to your signs here. If you go too fast, you will mess up on your signs. So pay really close attention to negative signs, positive signs, and really thinking through the rules. Looking back in your notes, what's a positive, what's a negative, how do we do this? All right, now we're at step 3, and we are ready to do step 3 here. And step 3 is our two-step problem like we did before. All right, so I'm going to remove 20 and remove 20, another negative number. All right, so this goes away. Slow and steady, just take your time. I have 19 and I subtract 20, which means I have -1. And -2G, I need to divide by -2. That becomes 1G left over. And divide by -2. Now I have negative and a negative, which equals a positive. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And I have +1/2. So G equals 1/2. Slow and steady. Everything is all built up. And we've got G. Okay, it is your turn for a try it. Now, slow and steady wins the race in these problems. So I would like for you to please go slow, take your time, double check your steps. All right, your problem is -3 groups of x plus 2 plus 5x equals 9. All right, hit pause so you don't hear me solving. And then when you're ready, come on back and let's check your understanding. All right, so hit pause because I'm going to start solving right now. So ignoring the -9, my first step is distributive property. So I have -3 groups of x, which is like 1x. So -3 times 1 is -3x. And then here I have -3 times a +2, which gives me -6. And then I have plus 5x. Slow and steady wins the race. All right, now I am ready to combine like terms. So we are going to combine like terms right now. Let's get another color here so we can combine those terms. I have -3x and I have a +5x. And then I also have this -6 right here all by itself. Okay, so let's start with -3 and 5. If I have -3 in the bank and I add 5 more to it, I have 2x minus 6 equals -9. All right, now I'm ready to solve like we did a couple days ago. I have -6, so I need to add 6. And then I need to add 6 over here. Drop down 2x. -9 plus 6 gives me -3. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. -3 divided by 2 is a -1 and 1/2. Again with the fractions. I wish they could have given you like just one that didn't have fractions in it. Okay, but you are going to be amazing with fractions by the end of this year because every problem we have done this year has some kind of crazy fraction in it. All right, how did you do solving this problem? How did you do? If you made a mistake, where was it? Was it in the distributive property? If so, that's what we still need to practice. Was it in combining like terms? If this is where your mistake was, we need to combine like terms. Was it adding negatives and positives? If so, we can practice that. Was it in the one-step equation or the two-step equation? Where did it come from? So here's your one-step, here's your two-step, here's your combining like terms, and here is the distributive property. All laid out in one big giant problem. Oh, math. All right, tell me what is your level of understanding right now? Answer your essential question. How do we solve multi-step equations with the distributive property? Summarize your learning there. And then tell me, out of 3, where are you at? If you are at a 1 or a 2, I need you to write down what is it that you need to practice on iExcel. Is it, like I said, negatives and positives? Is it distributive property? Is it combining like terms? Is it just one steps? Where is it that you feel you need the most support? And then you can either come on back to the Google Meet and ask me for help, or you can go to iExcel and do some practice before your big ideas, or just jump straight into big ideas. Your choice, wherever you go with your learning. I so appreciate your hard work. You guys have been working your tails off through these lessons, and I am so proud of your persistence. Keep it up. All right, Manta Rays, make it a great day, and I will see you next time.